with the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The hashtag Nasaan ang Pangulo trended on social media during the height of the Typhoon Rolly. President Duterte explained that he was in Davao and was waiting for the typhoon to pass before heading back to Manila. The president also said that he was closely monitoring the typhoon even if he was in Davao City. Our Malacanang correspondent Argil Heducos has the details.
President Duterte explained that he was not in Manila on the day Typhoon Rolly made landfall because he was waiting for the typhoon to pass before he flew out of Davao City. Duterte made the statement after Filipinos online asked where he was while parts of the country were experiencing the wrath of Typhoon Rolly. During the situation briefing on the effects of the typhoon in Malacanang, the president said he was in Davao City because he had to visit the graves of his parents before the week-long nationwide closure of cemeteries due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
You know, kung wala kayong patay, okay lang. Kami may mga patay, kailangan umuwi kami doon sa amin. Pero ngayon, nandito na ako. Yung sabi na wala ako dito kasi wala sa probinsya. So, what's the problem? Ang mga papilis, pinadala ninyo dyan. Tapos, pirmahan ko, padala ko uli. Machine lang naman yan eh.
The president said that there was no difference if he was in Manila or in Davao during the typhoon.
The fact na wala ako nandito sa pagbagyo, do you want me to stand doon sa White Sun ni Roy, si Mato, just to show that I am here? Kaming lahat wala because may bagyo eh. Ngayon, I was waiting for just yung tail end ng bagyo. Then, lumipad ako.
Malacanang has explained that even in Davao City, President Duterte was monitoring the situation. After the typhoon passed, the president immediately conducted an aerial inspection in areas in the Bicol region and Calabarzon ravaged by Rolly. For MB Now, this is Argil Heducos reporting.
President Duterte directed the local water utilities administration to help repair and restore the water supply in Catanduanes and other areas devastated by Typhoon Rolly. According to the president, concerned authorities must ensure the availability of potable water for the people after receiving reports about the disruption of water system in some calamity areas. The president issued the directive after asking Office of Civil Defense Administrator Ricardo Halad about the status of the water supply in the typhoon-hit communities. Duterte asked if there was already an ongoing repair to ensure the people have water to drink. Halad informed the president that the governor of Catanduanes mentioned the disruption of water supply due to the power outage in the area. The president held a meeting on the government's disaster response and relief efforts Monday, shortly after visiting typhoon-hit Ginobatan, Albay. He also conducted an aerial inspection of Albay and Catanduanes, which have been pummeled with heavy rains and winds by the typhoon last Sunday.
I'm directing LOA to help go there and help repair the water system, have it function to function immediately. Wala tubig yung mga tao doon.
More bodies are still being recovered by search, rescue, and retrieval operation teams in areas devastated by erstwhile Super Typhoon Rolly, with an unofficial death toll in Bicol and Calabarzon now reaching 21. As of 9 p.m. Monday, Regional Director of the Office of Civil Defense in Bicol, Claudio Yucut, said they have recorded 20 fatalities, 7 in Ginobatan, 3 in Malinaw, 2 in Tabaco City, and 1 each in Daraga and Pulangi towns in Albay Province, and 4 in Virac, 1 each in Gigmoto and San Miguel towns in Catanduanes. Most of them died of drowning, while others were hit by fallen trees and other debris during the onslaught of Typhoon Rolly. There were also some who were killed and whose bodies were swept into other municipalities after a lahar flow hit Tabaco City, Santo Domingo, Camalig, and Ginobatan, Albay. In a separate report, Undersecretary Ricardo Halad, Executive Director of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, said another fatality was recorded in Rizal Province. The NDRRMC has a lower overall tally with 17 dead as of 8 a.m. Tuesday. Halad explained that reports from the ground of casualties in Bicol region were continuously being verified at the national level. Meantime, Super Typhoon Rolly's damage to roads, bridges, flood control structures, and public buildings has reached 5.756 billion pesos. According to the Department of Public Works and Highways, damage to roads reached 1.515 billion, while damage to flood control structures is at 2.036 billion pesos. Damage to bridges and public buildings reached 458.2 million pesos and 367.25 million respectively. Other infrastructure damage cost 1.379 billion pesos. The DPWH Bicol region has also reported the closed roads in the island province of Catanduanes, which was previously isolated and unreachable due to province-wide power outage and unavailable telecommunication signal since the landfall of Super Typhoon Rolly. Impassable roads in Catanduanes include the intermittent sections of Catanduanes Circumferential Road due to landslides and fallen trees. In light of the government's intensified campaign against corruption within the government, President Duterte said that government officials involved in corruption will face dismissal and prosecution. The president read the names of several suspended government officials, saying he has a duty to inform the public about the anti-corruption efforts. Our Malacanang senior correspondent, Jen Cabiling, has the story.
President Duterte declared more government officials involved in corruption will face dismissal and prosecution by December as part of his intensified campaign to clean up the government. The president renewed his resolve to combat corruption after tagging dozens of corruption-linked officials from the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, Bureau of Immigration, and the Bureau of Customs during his public address. The president read the names of several suspended government officials in his remarks, saying he has a duty to inform the public about the anti-corruption efforts. Duterte first disclosed the names of 13 PhilHealth officials, including former PhilHealth President Roy Ferrer, who he said have been suspended and are no longer with the state health firm. He also mentioned the suspension order issued by the Office of the Ombudsman against 8 more PhilHealth officials.
So malagay ka dyan. So sinasabi ko, yung sa PhilHealth, ang mga kilala kong nilagay ko dyan, sinabi ko na bantay kayo dyan. Bantay kayo kasi delikado yung lugar na. I've been hearing so many stories about corruption sa PhilHealth. Na ito lumabas na ngayon sa Ombudsman. They are suspended for 6 months. They are being investigated. And if there's enough evidence, they will be prosecuted in court, and eventually they will land in jail. And that could be a problem, not only for the family and everybody.
Around 44 immigration employees allegedly involved in the Pastillas scheme have also been suspended by the Ombudsman, which, according to the President, could grow to 70. Under the Pastillas scheme, some immigration personnel allegedly accepted bribes from Chinese nationals in exchange of easy entry into and exit from the country. The grease money were rolled up in a bond paper like the Filipino delicacy. In the Customs Bureau, the president said 20 officials have been dismissed, 4 others suspended, and 4 have been reprimanded. He added that 135 customs personnel are under investigation, while 45 have been charged with administrative cases. Duterte said he was dissatisfied with the customs action, insisting that both criminal and administrative complaints must be pursued against erring public servants.
So, mayroon pa. The next round is will be by December. Many will lose their jobs. Many will be separated from government. Many will face prosecution. And many will go to jail.
Duterte said he intends to combat corruption in government in the remainder of his term. For MB Now, this is Jen Kabiling reporting.
No Filipinos were reported hurt in the shooting near a synagogue in Vienna, where at least 2 people died and several others wounded, according to the Department of Foreign Affairs. There are 321 Filipinos in Vienna based on the December 2019 data, according to the Foreign Affairs Office. Abala said the Philippine Embassy in Vienna is already in touch with members of the Filipino community and continues to monitor the situation, even as the local police authorities in the Austrian capital have requested all residents to stay indoors. According to news reports, several shots rang out around 8 p.m. when several armed men started opening fire in Gas, a street where the synagogue was situated. Local police said there were several attackers armed with rifles and that shots had been fired in 6 different locations. In Metro News, Manila's drive-through and walk-in COVID-19 testing centers reopen. And Quezon City, COVID-19 active cases drop below 1,000. More from this report.
The drive-through and walk-in COVID-19 testing centers in Manila resumed operations today after 2-day closure due to the onslaught of Typhoon Rolly over the weekend. Manila Mayor Francisco Escomarano Dumagoso said on his Facebook post, testing and medical services remain the priorities of the city amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Manila's drive-through testing facility is located at Carino Grandstand. Its walk-in testing centers at God Andres Bonifacio Memorial Center, Ospital ng Tondo, Justice Jose Abad Santos General Hospital, Ospital ng Sampaloc, and Ospital ng Maynila. The city's 2 molecular laboratories at Santa Ana Hospital are also open. For the first time since the pandemic began, Quezon City has reported less than 1,000 active COVID-19 cases. As of October 31, the Quezon City Epidemiology and Disease Surveillance Unit recorded 996 active cases and 21,032 recoveries. The LGU attributed the low number of active cases to the guidelines set by the Department of Health, which identifies and tags patients with mild or no symptoms as recovered 14 days from the onset of symptoms. Belmonte vowed not to put their guard down to ensure that the number of active cases will continue on its downward trend. The LGU urged its constituents to practice all necessary health protocols to fight COVID-19, advising them to celebrate through online gatherings or scheduled celebrations during the holiday.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Entry and exit between Baguio City and Itogon restricted. 93% drop in dengue cases recorded in Western Visayas. And 180 police aspirants in BARMM test positive for COVID-19. More from this report.
Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong announced that the city will be restricting the entry of residents from Itogon Town into Baguio City starting Tuesday, November 3 in response to the alarming increase in the number of coronavirus cases in the Benguet town. As a precaution, residents of Baguio City will also be restricted from entering the municipality. Magalong said that he and Mayor Victor Palangdan agreed that Baguio City should temporarily restrict ingress and egress of Itogon residents into the city. The restriction starts at 12 noon on November 3 and will last until November 15. The period may be extended if the COVID-19 situation is not controlled. The Department of Health recorded a 93% drop in the number of dengue cases in Western Visayas region. The DOH-6 reported that there were only 3,675 cases of dengue recorded from January 1 to October 17, significantly low compared to the same period last year with 54,002 recorded cases. While there was a significant drop in dengue cases, DOH-6 warned the public not to be complacent and to always clean surroundings that would prevent dengue carrier mosquitoes from breeding. At least 180 police applicants in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARMM are currently in isolation after testing positive for the coronavirus disease, according to the Provincial Health Office. It was unclear where they contracted the virus, but their infections were confirmed after they were subjected to RT-PCR tests. The Provincial Health Office is still investigating the history of travel of all applicants and that a swab test was one of the requirements before a medical certificate is issued to them. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health in the Bangsamoro region in Muslim Mindanao reported that 79 patients have also recovered from the disease on Sunday, raising the number of patients who recovered to 1,414.
In world news, Trump dismisses fake polls while Biden says it's time to end the chaos. 2 dead, several wounded in terror attack in central Vienna. And Oxford Street's Christmas lights go on display in London with little fanfare. Let's watch this.
Donald Trump stumped for votes in Joe Biden's native city on the eve of Election Day, dismissing polls that show him headed for defeat as his Democratic challenger urged Americans to draw a line under 4 years of chaos, as he pivoted back to his months-long attempts to paint Biden as either sleepy or corrupt. The crowd chanted, "Lock him up," and Trump sought to recapture the spirit of his shock win 4 years ago, telling the crowd, "You elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first."
Hello, Traverse City. Hello, Michigan. We want the same result as we had 4 years ago for Michigan, right? And we fulfilled all our promises.
But Biden, who has built his campaign on casting Trump as a reckless failure during the coronavirus pandemic, senses victory. Opinion polls gave him small but steady advantages in all the swing states that tip close elections and even threatening Republican strongholds like Georgia and Texas.
We got to make sure everyone returns their ballot or vote tomorrow. Make sure everyone you know does the same. It's time to rebuild the backbone of this country.
2 people, including one attacker, were killed in central Vienna on Monday evening in what Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz described as a repulsive terror attack. Police said there was 1 deceased person and several injured, including 1 police officer. The attack had been carried out by several suspects armed with rifles, and police added that there had been 6 different shooting locations. European Union Chief Charles Michel condemns the shooting in Vienna, in which at least 2 people, including 1 attacker, died and several more were injured, as cowardly. Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz condemns a repulsive terrorist attack in central Vienna, in which 1 perpetrator and 1 other person were killed. Christmas lights go on display on Oxford Street, London's best-known shopping hub, 3 weeks earlier than usual. They are normally switched on by a celebrity in front of huge crowds, but social distancing restrictions force organizers to shelve the event this year as the coronavirus pandemic rages in the United Kingdom. Every week, the display will feature the name of a hero who helped others during the pandemic, nominated by the public.
In entertainment, for the first time, Miss Universe 2015 Pia Wurtzbach broke her silence on the issues surrounding her mother and sister as she called on everyone to pray for her family. In an Instagram post, Pia asked netizens to be kind to her sister Sarah and that they are trying to resolve their family issues privately. Pia also asked the netizens for support by not trying to put the blame on anyone and to stop victim shaming. She also asked people to be mindful of their comments about her sister as she is going through something difficult at the moment. For the past weeks, Sarah posted rants on social media on family issues ranging from financial matters to alleged sexual abuse. In sports, one-line karate sensation and world number 1 James De Los Santos scored another dominant win as he defeated Silvio Cerrone Biagioni of South Africa 25.2 to 23.7 in the final of E-Champions Trophy World Series number 2. The 30-year-old De Los Santos said he almost failed to submit his video entry because of bad weather. On his way to the final round, De Los Santos downed Andredo Bustamante of the USA 24.8 to 24.3, while Cerrone Biagioni edged Matias Moreno Dumont of Switzerland in the other semis, pairing 24.1 to 23.8. It was the first gold medal for De Los Santos for the month of November and 19th since the pandemic. Last month, De Los Santos won a total of 7 gold medals after he ruled the Pune Open India Karate E-Tournament, the 3rd Katana Intercontinental Karate League E-Tournament, Golden League Karate E-Tournament Series 2, Venice Cup 2020, the Okinawa E-Tournament World Series, and the first Euro Grand Prix and the 2nd E-Karate Games 2020. He is expected to compete in 10 more online tournaments for the rest of the year. And those are the news on Web Today, November 3, 2020. It's 51 days before Christmas. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph. Or you may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.